pleased to be joined on the Arizona Sports Line by Yahoo Sports NFL writer Nate Tice. Nate, thank you for the time. How's it going?
Going great. Yeah, you're making it sound like the training camp was out like in the, Flagstaff, or something. It was like all the way out there,
Yuma.
But I get where the stadium is now. But thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanted to start here. Just your perception on this Cardinals team compared to maybe the last couple years where they weren't so much on the national radar. Do you sense that they could be more dangerous this year? Or what are your thoughts on the Cardinals?
Oh, yeah, I'm very bullish on them. Just even separately as a kind of national analyst, I've been kind of taking a keen interest in what the Cardinals and what Gannon's been building here for the last couple of years. Kind of say it's been the Dan Campbell path, the Lions path, maybe a Diet Coke version of that. But I really think that this year is going to be that step forward. I thought that there was a lot of positive signs last year. Right when they're kind of building momentum, they couldn't really get over the hump in the back half of the season and maybe just make that little final playoff push. But I mean, they're so competitive. I thought the offense did a lot of nice things. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. maybe didn't find the chemistry yet, but I think the training camp signs look good, at least from an outside perspective. But he found chemistry with Trey McBride. I love the run game. But there's a lot with the defense that I like. When they first kind of came in, they had zero talent on that defensive side outside maybe Budda Baker. And now they really have accumulated talent. Even last year, trading for Baron Browning, the Cardinals defense, since they added Browning, were turned into a top 10 defense as far as advanced stats like EPA per play. So this is a defense that kept adding talent in the draft and free agency. And I think it's one of these teams, that has a good offense, good defense, at the very least above average, can rush the passer, can run the ball. The NFC West is tough. But I think it's wide open, and I think the Cardinals have as valid of a chance to win it as anybody else. I'm not just saying that because I'm on an Arizona show. I really do think that outside.
No, I really do think that. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Nate. I do. I'm bullish on the Arizona Cardinals as well. I do have some questions. I'll ask you, what are your biggest question marks about this team in 2025?
Well, can they keep rushing the passer? The thing is, what Nick Rawls is doing this kind of, it's a very funky defense, kind of a lot of late movement on the back end, kind of using different guys in a lot of different roles, like Zaven Collins, I think, lines up everywhere now. But it's just that, can these guys win one-on-one? That's why they drafted Walter Nolan. Of course, he is facing an injury already. Can Baron Browning be another one-on-one winner? Or does it just all have to be schemed up? Because if they can rush the passer and if this is legitimate, it's not just all smoke and mirrors and they're good against some teams and lesser against other teams, this is a real threat to deal with. I trust the offense more than most people. I think there's times where, yes, it maybe got frustrating. There's maybe some stretches where they weren't, lacked maybe some creativity, but I think that was the baseline. So I maybe have more faith in that offense that I think they're going to have that natural uptick. So I think it's the defensive pressure, natural pressure is maybe the best way to put it, that I'm kind of focusing as their make or break, I think.
We're talking to Yahoo Sports NFL writer Nate Tice. Nate, we talked to Marvin Harrison Jr. last week and kind of asked him what year two needs to look like for him, and he said it's not so much stats, it's more just team wins. But when everybody's looking for him to kind of have that breakout year two, but statistically he didn't have a bad year one. What does a good year two look like for him in your mind?
That's why I keep trying to tell people is that was a good, solid rookie receiver season. Remember, it used to take 3 years for these guys, and these guys are coming out as true juniors and redshirt sophomores. It's like they're entering younger. I don't know. I think it was such a loaded receiver class, and other guys had big years, even just people pay attention a lot to fantasy. So, of course, the guy that they draft high and the guys that are drafted lower, they're getting crap talked to them. So now they're getting sensitive about it. I think that's a lot to do with it, because I thought he had a good year, even with some lows. I thought him and Kyler sometimes on contested catches. He was real. They isolate Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot. And I think that he was really trying to force feed him at times. And I was fine with that, because they're trying to build something. Hopefully you're doing this for 5, 6, 7, 8 more years, maybe a decade, if it all goes right. So I think that sometimes it was force fed, and there's good and bad with that. And I think this year, again, he had a nice baseline year. I think it's going to look more like his dad's second year kind of did, which is like, low 1,000-ish yards, 1,200 yards, still catches a healthy chunk of TDs, that kind of 8 to 10 TD range. But I think it's just more consistency, just watching it down to down, where it is those go balls, those contested catches. I see it go balls, but a lot of it like back shoulders, which, oh my God, I've seen nothing but back shoulders, it seems like, from training camp.
Yeah.
So obviously they've been working at it. And Marvin Harrison Jr. looked like he put on 25 pounds. He went 2 weight classes up.
Yeah.
If he was an MMA fighter. So it's one of those things where obviously they've been working at this. So that's why I think there's going to be that natural uptick with it.
Nate, what do you think is the national perspective of Kyler Murray?
Inconsistent. Oh my God, when Call of Duty comes out, he drops off, even though that wasn't true last year. Like, I think and this is just what happens when, and you play with teams that maybe haven't been in the spotlight, is that, when people check in for that one national game or the one time that they see him on Red Zone channel, if he does something, they go, same old Kyler. They didn't see maybe, I saw maybe the first month of the season when Kyler was playing with so much confidence, and he was kind of building towards that maybe in the end of the season on some third down stuff with Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think it's more like everyone thinks he's more just the, very high and very low, like, up and down, kind of has some cool moments, but is not a consistent quarterback. But I thought last year, even if it wasn't perfect, was his most consistent year as being a real quarterback under center, handling pre-snap operation. So when I watched him, I saw a lot of growth in his game, even if there was, some negative moments. But I think nationally, a lot of people just think it's still Kyler from year 2, where it's a lot of runaround stuff and can't live up to the big moment and is only just going to have some good runaround games. So, but I think that I'm hoping this year, I am bullish on this year as more people kind of realize what Kyler is kind of being in this offense.
Talking to Nate Tice, Nate, you mentioned the path that the Cardinals ideally would be on is the one Detroit was on a few years ago, and I think a lot of people here, at least optimistically, feel that. Detroit really kind of took the jump in year 3 with Dan Campbell. What happens if the Cardinals don't take that jump this year? Is it just like a 1-year setback, or does it raise bigger questions?
Well, it depends on what kind of makes their falling out happen.
Yeah.
If the defense is, if the offense is if it was a repeat of last year, then it's like, okay, do we need more firepower? Is this defense working for us? Okay. If the offense is the one holding them back this year, or if it just kind of plateaus, then it's, bigger questions. But to me, this was always a 4-year build. Just like I think Dan Campbell and the Lions thing, they maybe got to a really high peaks that year, maybe a little ahead of schedule too. And last year was their true kind of magnum opus, even if they kind of lost a little earlier than they wanted to. I think that this is a 4-year job. So it's really, I know it's a kind of a cop-out answer, but it all just depends on kind of what leads to the fallout. That's why I think it's kind of clean, because of the defensive investments and then what I think the offense kind of, you've been in the system for 3 years. The O-line is pretty good. Like, at least above board. It's at least an average to above average, from left to right side. You got a couple weapons now. I wish they had maybe a little bit more of like a deep threat. But I don't know. They have a lot of answers to stuff. So I think it's going to be self-explanatory where the questions are going to go. Because I think Gannon, as a game operator, and some of the stuff that I see how well coached their special teams are. There's some cool moments from last year that I actually kind of believe in the coaching staff, when usually that would be the first who I'd be pointing at.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to kind of naturally explain itself, even if that's kind of a cop-out answer.
Nate, we appreciate this.
Well
this was
done,
great.
Nate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Man.
Great talking to you.
See you, brother.
That's Nate Tice joining us right there on the Arizona Sports Line. Good stuff there.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.